Just imagine that you're Magnus in a world championship and you're playing as Caruana. Okay, so it's black to move right now. The first thing that we gotta check is, do we have any checks in this position? Now, it's gonna be hard to play like Magnus, you know, but we're gonna try. Are there any checks? Boom, 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 boom. There doesn't seem to be any checks, right? There are no checks in this position apart from queen takes f2. Well, that if queen takes f2, there's bishop or king takes and we resign. So what's the next thing? What captures are there in this position? There are queen takes knight. This is one capture. Does this seem to be a good capture? Not really, because we just lose the queen. Knight takes pawn. Does this seem like a good capture? Not really, because they just take us back and there's nothing really to continue with. Does this seem like a good capture? No, for the same reason. Does this seem like a good capture? No! Well, knight takes, queen check, bishop there. But we still cannot take back because everything is protected. So no, this is a bad capture. Rook captures. Is this any good? Well, doesn't really seem to be any good, right? You just take it back. So these seem to be all the captures. Are any of these captures good? No, all of these captures suck, basically. So this is the only capture that I can see right now that could be a little bit, you know, like maybe this is a move that we need to do, but it doesn't feel like it works because we cannot even like attack it again with rook a7 or something. See, this is like a list, you know? Boom, 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 boom. One looks a little bit good. It's like when you're doing, you know, when you're solving a test, right? You go for the easy questions first and then you leave a question mark at the ones that are harder that you want to come back to when you have more time, okay? So, you know, we leave a little question mark over there. We're like, you know what? Okay, let's if we don't find anything else, let's go ahead and reconsider it. Now we're going to go for the attacks. What attacks are there in this position? I can see this attack. This knight e5 attack. It's attacking the queen, but we need to analyze what happens then if they, you know, just make a queen over here. So we need to analyze all of these things. But this seems to be an attack right now. Knight e5. So queen f3. Queen f3 in this position, threatening the rook, right? So these seem to be the two main attacks that I can find right now that are attacking, you know, a big piece immediately. Also another attack, which is bishop f6, threatening this pawn in b2. This is another attack right now. We can analyze this move as well. The first issue that I can see right now is that if knight e5, if we start with this move, I don't know what happens if pawn takes bishop, rook takes, because, you know, this is a queen, and knight e7 check, winning the queen. You know, we're going to be losing a lot of material as black. So this immediately seems to prove that this move doesn't work. We need to realize that in this position, this knight has this fork. This is, you know, this is a really important square in this position that this bishop and this knight, you know, if they go somewhere random, then there's going to be this little fork over here. I think that this, therefore, doesn't work. Now that we've gone ahead and narrowed down the different options that we have, we need to calculate. And this is the most difficult part, you know? I think that one way of like knowing that there might be a tactic is not like when a lot of pieces are hanging. When you said this bishop is over here, you know, there's all of these kind of moves. You see all of these threats and this bishop is hanging at the same time. You can kind of sense, you know, after a while that there has to be something going on. It's like your body saying, calculate, calculate, calculate. So we already said knight e5 doesn't work. So let's go for queen f3. What happens if queen f3? Well, like queen f3, then they're going to be taking this bishop. And after rook takes, they might just castle. And then after that, we're just basically just going to be a bishop down, yeah? I think that with all of our attacks, they look good. Knight e5 looks good. Queen f3 looks good. But we're realizing that this bishop over here is hanging the whole time. So probably we need to do something about this before we start going for queen f3 and knight e5. You know what I mean? So how do we fix the situation with this bishop? Well, we fix the situation with this bishop by moving it. Now, where can we go? We can go on to c7. We can go to f6. We can go to g5, or we can go to h4. Now, bishop g5, we can immediately see that it just sucks because we're not getting anything and we're just getting, you know, we're just giving the bishop away, basically. The ways to avoid pawn takes bishop, you know, with a check is to either take this one, go bishop f6, bishop takes h4, or go king h7. Once again, we're going to start with calculating, you know, the captures. So let's start with bishop takes c7. We already looked at this move, but last time when we looked at the move, our mind was just thinking about, you know, checks, captures, attacks. We've been able together to narrow down our thought process to this. Let's go ahead and start with this move. So if bishop takes c7 and knight takes c7, let's go ahead and now calculate what happens if knight e5. So bishop takes c7, knight takes c7, and knight e5, threatening the queen, threatening knight d3, threatening knight f3. This looks, for the bare eye, very good. Let's say that they would go like queen c3, then there's perhaps knight check, king goes somewhere, and then we can maybe take the rook. And what happens then? Well, then we're giving 2 pieces for 1 rook. So we've calculated bishop takes c7, and this looks pretty good. This pawn is literally stopping so many of our pieces from working. This pawn is so strong. This is a passed pawn that is super protected right now. We can also see that white has threats of like knight b6 in this position, etc, etc. After bishop takes c7, then, you know, we would be protecting from all this. So guys, bishop takes c7 is the move that to me looks the best right now, to then go knight e5 and knight d3. Now, when we're thinking about these moves, it's very easy to go absolutely crazy, right? And that is why it's important to have a red thread. And the red thread that we have all the time here is that we want to go knight e5 because we analyze the attacks first. We want to go knight e5, knight d3. We want to do this, but right now our bishop is under attack, so we got to do an intermediate move first. That is, you know, the red thread. So if we lose ourselves in calculations, we just go back to that. So we know that we need to move this one. So we're going to go for bishop takes c7. Now, I don't know if this is right or wrong. Let's see if Magnus Carlsen played bishop takes c7. Are you guys happy with that move? What do you think? Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this. We thought about it in our ways, and, you know, we're just going to see what happens. Bishop takes c7 is best, everybody. Look at that. Look at that. We got ourselves from not understanding what was going on in that position to making the best move of that position. So knight e5, this is the move that we were calculating before. And now they're going queen d5. So basically here what you guys, a lot of people are saying, oh, why can we not go for check and then just take the queen? But guys, now this position, once again, it's very easy to all the time just like continue the analysis that we did before. Every time you have a position, you need to look at it with fresh eyes. You need to see this as a new position. All right, it's very easy to get drawn into your game as if it was your story or something. No, you don't look at a chess game like a story. You look at it as different positions. Every position is different, like that. So you gotta reevaluate a little bit. In this position, there's gonna be new threats for us and new threats for our opponents. Let's start with what the new threats for our opponents are. Like, what are they threatening us? Let's start with this. They're threatening our rook, right? Now, the thing is, though, that if knight takes a8, then what happens is that this knight leaves the protection of this queen. This knight right now is doing a function of defending this queen. If knight takes a8, there might be knight f3 check, and then we might be able to take the queen. Now, what are we threatening? Well, we're threatening to go knight d3 check and maybe taking the rook. Like I said before, guys, this knight is defending this queen. This would just be an exchange of queens, and we don't want to exchange right now because we are material down. You can see over here, they are +2. We are 2 pawns down in this position, so we can't do that. We want to go knight takes c7 because if rook takes c7, we have knight d3 check and winning the queen. But the issue is that after rook takes c7, there's queen takes a8, and after the king moves, you know, this one is hanging. That is the issue. So we cannot go for rook takes c7 yet. Knight f3 check, the king can just go to e2 and there's nothing really going on. So it seems like these moves just don't do anything. Even though they look really tempting and really good, they don't do anything right now. I think that I would want to go rook b8 over here just to defend this rook and threaten to go rook takes c7 and have the same threats as I had before, but just more, you know? Because what do they do then? We have so many threats. In that case, they're gonna have to take care of so many different things, and I think we're just gonna have a really good position. Rook a5 is also a very interesting move for sure. So rook a5, the idea is that after queen takes, there's knight check, and we will be getting the queen. So this is actually also a very tempting move. Now, the reason why I prefer this move over this one is because this move over here, this rook over here, has a purpose. This rook is also, if we go for any check, threatening to take on b2. This rook on a5 is kind of stuck. So after something like queen takes d6, which I don't know if it's good or not, this rook just is not really doing anything. So guys, I'm going to go for rook b8. Here we go. Now we're going to go for our plan, right? Our plan was to go rook takes c7, so that after rook takes c7, we have this. So our plan now is to go rook takes c7, but we still need to reevaluate the position. So we're going to look at this capture, rook takes knight, and then there's knight f3 check, and we win the queen, right? Rook takes c7, queen takes d6, and then what? So there is this move. Okay, guys, we actually need to calculate this. So rook takes c7, queen takes d6, rook takes rook, and if queen takes b8, we have rook c8 back, and we're still going to be a piece up. So I think that's going to be great. I think that is the one. Guys, we're going for a big move, a big capture in the World Chess Championship in 2018. Caruana versus Carlsen. Let's do it. Here we go, guys. Are you ready? They're going for it. We're figuring out the whole variation. Hopefully, I don't know if this is right or wrong. We're gonna see what happens. Okay, so queen takes d6. So I think that rook takes c8 is the only move. And if they would go for rook takes back, then I think that we're still in the attack by taking on b2 or whatever. But if they take on b8, which is really important to calculate, we need to go rook c8. I think the only move is to go queen d6, because if the queen goes somewhere random, we're going to have queen h3 and then knight f3. So I think the only move would then be to go queen d6. And then in that position, I mean, I still think this looks pretty good for us. Rook cb7 is another move in this position. For me, rook cb7 looks a little bit clumsy because these two rooks are like not really doing anything. Because also, like, I might want to move this rook and then I can't because this one is hanging. It feels like this one isn't doing anything. So rook cc8 is another move that perhaps works. I guess actually rook cc8 works because if rook takes, then there's rook takes. I just wanted to go for something a little bit more forcing. I think we're going to be taking on c1. If rook takes c1, queen takes b8 check, we're going to be going back to c1 to c8 with that rook. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and go for this. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, they're going for bishop takes c1, which was a move that I wasn't expecting. There's a 3200 engine. I was not expecting this move at all. The idea of that is to defend b2, which makes sense, you know? Now what I wanted to do was that I wanted to go rook e8 to then go queen h3 and knight f3. This is what I wanted to do. But let's see, rook e2, king g2, they want to avoid queen h3. Right, this is a move that, you know, white want to stop us doing. This does look a little bit weird. Okay, should I put the evil bar? We're not going to see the analysis, I just want to see the evil bar. Bing, bang, boom, we're still in the game. We've been playing this correctly. This is great. This is the same eval we had before. We have two gathered. This is a classical game from WCC, yes. Alright, let's go ahead and keep it over here then. This is amazing. Good job, guys. We are playing like Magnus, but we don't know why it's winning. No, that's what we got to figure out. Exactly. So in this position, let's start with the checks, captures, and attacks, just to put our mind in the right place. Yeah, rook is hanging right now. So checks, captures, and attacks. What are the checks in this position? Queen takes f2, which just loses a queen, which is a disaster. Or knight f3 check. Now, after knight f3 check, like we've been calculating, there's king g2. And after that, I cannot really see how we continue. The only check would be to go for this. But after this, and this, queen g3, there's nothing. So I cannot see how that could be good. So we know that the checks don't work. What attacks do we have? Do we have any big attacks? We cannot go queen h3 to attack checkmate because the rook is hanging, especially the knight is hanging. So we don't have that. Now, I don't know if rook b6 is good, but that's the first move that to me is coming to my mind. Now, why is rook b6 coming to my mind? Because I am thinking about attacking moves. If queen takes b6, I wanted to go for queen h3, threatening checkmate, because now the knight is not hanging. All right, that is the idea. And if queen check and this, there's not really any ways of stopping this checkmate, you know, because if you go f3 or whatever, then we're going to be taking all these pawns. But the issue is, I believe that after rook b6, that after queen takes queen h3 threatening checkmate, there's queen b8 check, and after the king moves, this knight is hanging. So I believe that that is the biggest issue with it. Rook b6 doesn't work because of queen b8 check after. Let's see. Rook e8 makes sense because we're defending this one. But then we need to calculate what happens rook e8, king g2, guys. Because king g2 is what white wants to do to stop us from going queen h3. That's when I think that we might have to go queen f3 check, king g1, queen g4, threatening to go check in here. I feel like that is what we might have to do. So rook e8, bishop f4. If this move, then we're going to be going, I mean, we might have check this and then queen g4 once again. And how to defend this pawn? So I think we're going to go rook e8 because of this. Okay, guys, we're going to go for this. Rook e8, bing, bang, boom. I'm so nervous to put the rook over here. I'm so nervous. It doesn't seem to have been too bad. But it might not have been the best move. Doesn't We're still fine, go. We are still fine. So now, yeah, our idea, we already analyzed bishop f4. Our idea the whole time is to go queen h3 and bishop f3, but we couldn't do it before because our knight was hanging, and right now they went bishop f4 just so that our knight would still be hanging if we went queen h3. So we can still not go queen h3. They're still stopping us. This was our idea, right? Because we wanna go into those light squares. These light squares are so weak. There's no light square bishop for white, so these light squares are very weak. So we kind of understand that these are the squares that we want to work with. Probably we're gonna have to move the knight. Now we gotta calculate what happens if knight f3, king g2, queen g4, and rook h1. Let's to maybe go e3, but I don't know if it works. This is really difficult. Like, this is a really complicated puzzle that we have over here. When we're doing something really hard, we have been for 6-7 moves, we've been trying to play the best move in a position, and this is kind of how chess games go. A lot of times in a chess game, you don't have an immediate win. That's why I think this function is really cool, because it lets you play games of world champions. That's really cool. So maybe we should just bring all our pieces in. Maybe we're just a little bit better then. Like, go rook e6 and after check, because then our knight is going to be in a good square. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to go for knight f3 check. Okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, good. They're going immediately for that move, so this seems to have been the right move. So now we were thinking of queen g4, guys. This is the move that we're thinking. And the only way that I see to defend this pawn is to either go bishop g5 or rook h1. But bishop g5 would lose a pawn, so rook h1 makes most sense to me. And then I was thinking of going rook e6 and then maybe going rook f6, attacking this bishop, putting some pressure over here. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. This is so scary, man. Did it determine what happens after rook h1? We wanted to go rook e6. We've been able to play 7 moves that have not been bad against the strongest engine that there is. I'm gonna go rook e6 to activate the rook. We want to bring more rooks into the attack. We have had enough, I think. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and analyze this. So we went for bishop takes c7, and this was the best move, guys. Knight takes c7, and we found all the moves. We were analyzing and we found all the moves. Knight e5 was the best move. And we went rook a b8 as well, guys. We were finding all the best moves. That is pretty amazing. So far, this is all good. They castled. And we went for rook takes c7, and this was still the best. And then queen takes d6, and this was all fine. And then we went for rook takes c1, and this was the best move as well. Guys, all the way, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4. We've done 5 best moves against the 3,200. Alright, so bishop takes c1. And what did we do? We went rook e8. So it might be from rook e8 that things started going badly. So rook e8 was good, but rook c8 was the best. Now we need to understand, why is rook c8 better? Because we're just activating the rook to the second fast. Alright, well, we did our best. I think we did pretty good though. I kind of want to see how the game went. Look at that. So after this, he went bishop takes c7. This is what we're looking at. We went knight e5. Look, we're playing like Carlsen. We're being Magnus Carlsen there for a second. Knight d5 was played. What? This is so anticlimactic. Why did Caruana go knight d5? But then he just went king h7. And then white resigned? Wait, what? So we did all of the other moves, and Caruana just went knight d5 and then resigned.